Livestream is your premier place to watch live events on the web, mobile devices, and connected TVs. See new events daily or broadcast your own at livestream.com. Livestream. Be there.
Broadcasting from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip, it's Awkward Silence 2.1. And now, our favorite host in this particular time spot, it's Brandon Gooch on.
How you doing? I'm Brandon Gooch on, and welcome to Awkward Silence 2.1. It's a show where we get to display some of the funniest comedians in Las Vegas. We do it every single week with a new comic, hopefully that is. So you can email us at awkward@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's awkward@vegasvideonetwork.com. And you can also get a hold of us on the telly, 866-966-4599, 866-966-4599. And let's just say you miss a show. Don't worry, Angel. We got you covered. Because we show replays on replays of Awkward Silence 2.1 on the VegasVideoNetwork.com, Roku, iTunes, and YouTube. Got that out. So without any further ado, let's do the seamless segue to camera number 2. Oh yeah! Back in this humpy bumpy. All right, so a brand new tell-all book about former Governor Sarah Palin reveals that she had a one-night stand with former NBA great Glenn Rice back in 1987 when Glenn Rice was in college and he played for the Michigan Wolverines. According to sources, Sarah Palin hasn't been this gosh darn upset since the last time she got screwed by a black man. Suck it, Tea Party! I don't mean to get political. And Luis Miguel Aguilar is making headlines after he bit off a man's eyebrow, chewed it up, and then spit it out at a street fight that took place in front of a house party. Don't feel too bad for the victim, though, because he recently picked up work as a stunt double for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Gotta love The Rock. And the 2012 Guinness Book of World Records recently hit stores. And in the book, you can check out the Duchess, as she likes to be known. You see, she has the world's longest fingernails, and she simultaneously broke the record for taking the most amount of time while dropping a deuce. And let's not forget about the world's heaviest woman, Donna Simpson. Can we get a picture of Donna Simpson? Oh, my God. Yeah. Donna Simpson weighed 532 pounds when she gave birth to her child, an event that required the assistance of over 30 doctors. Amazing! Oh, no, not the world records part. The most amazing part is there were guys out there that willingly banged these chicks. Jesus, let's get some standards. Could you imagine getting a handy from the Duchess? Thanks a lot, Guinness. Tonight, I think I'll break the world record for having the most nightmares during a single nap. And an obsessed fan who has been trying to contact Jessica Simpson for years is releasing a book detailing their sexual encounter. The weird thing is, they've never met in person. Mark William Burchell plans on releasing a 30-page novel detailing their sexual encounter. And here's the title, and I'm sorry, I gotta be unprofessional. I gotta check my notes because it's a doozy. The title of the book is The True Story of Jessica Ann Simpson's 22-month-long attempt to seduce a married man, her very active super secret sex life. True story, Jessica Simpson's Seduction of a Married Man, Volume 1, will be available on Amazon for the low, low price of $29.99. Somebody needs to explain to this lunatic that the title of your book should never be longer than the actual book. Be on the lookout for Volume 2, Jessica Simpson and the Deathly Hallows. You know what's scary about this? This guy actually has a chance at making some serious money. And if he does, I'm sorry, Vegas Video Network, because Gooch will be putting in his 2 weeks immediately, regardless of the contract I signed. I know, Scott's like, oh, what? I'm just saying, if you guys loved his story, you're going to love the tale that I tell of the time I had a four-way with all three of the Dixie chicks. And don't forget about the time where I seduced Ellen DeGeneres. Oh, I know she's a hardcore lesbian, but wait till you hear how I tell how I turned her. Oh, my God, it's going to be steamy. And on that note, Courtney Leone is down at the Gipsy, which is traditionally a gay bar here in Las Vegas, and I got to be totally honest, I have no idea why she's down there. Hey, Court.
Hi, Peggy. Gooch, I'm standing here outside of the Gipsy, and I feel at home, but not in a play shortstop for softball team kind of way, more or less in a better watch the guy next to my drink kind of way.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, have you ever been a straight person here in this town and thought to yourself, what is there for me to do? You don't have to worry about that anymore because now every Wednesday night, Gipsy has straight night.
A straight night at the Gipsy, that makes absolutely no sense.
Come on, Gooch. Every person who's straight has at least one time or another stood outside of a gay club and thought, I hate being discriminated against. Even you felt this way, I'm sure of it, but shh. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, why would straight people need to go to a gay bar to pick up other straight people? I mean, don't we have enough establishments? We got Applebee's and Chili's and Buffalo Wild Wings, real high-end places. I don't understand what you're even getting at because straight people are the majority. You know that, right?
Are you sure about that, Gooch? I mean, it is so hot to be gay right now. They have their own channel. Doogie Howser's on that How I Met Your Mother show. There's, LeBron James. I mean, being gay is the new it thing.
That joke was for me. Now, I don't understand why a place that caters the gay people, that's their core clientele, they cater to these people, and then all of a sudden, one day a week, core clientele, you're not allowed into the doors. It makes no sense.
You don't get it, do you? If I want to walk into an establishment and get me some, I should be able to pick up some dick. I should be able to pick up whatever dick I want.
But don't you have a boyfriend?
Shut your stupid mouth. I'm not talking about literally. God, you have completely missed the mark on this. You know what, Gooch? You're stepping on my soapbox. I don't like it. You're either with the movement or you're against the movement.
Movement? What are you driving at?
Hey, I've been sitting on the back of the bus for way too long. Plymouth Rock didn't land on us. We landed on it.
Courtney Leone, everyone.
You a white bitch, Gooch. Fight the power.
I am completely lost. Let's pass the mic. All right, pass the mic. This is the portion of the show where you, the viewer, get to ask me, the host, a question at awkward@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's the email, awkward@vegasvideonetwork.com. Scott, what's up?
You got two, brother. First one's from Michelle. Michelle wants to know, did you always know you wanted to be a comic?
That's a difficult question. Like, yeah, I thought I did, and then I bombed, and then I didn't want to be a comic. But then I did good, and then I wanted to be a comic, and then I bombed, and then the list goes on and on and on. It's a roller coaster, seriously, with no strap-ins.
Okay. Troy wants to know, who is your biggest influence other than me?
Oh, well, Scott Whitney, of course. He could play the sixth string. Actually, my biggest influence, believe it or not, is Dave Chappelle. The first time I saw Dave Chappelle, man, it was so funny. And then Barbara Bush. Just thinking about it. All right, let's do a station ID, and we'll be back with our headliner.
Hey, baby. Hey. Gentle. Okay, all right. Hi, this is Jacob Cannon from Let's Bet, and you're watching the Vegas Video Network. Now somebody bring me a jelly donut.
Do you know who else banks Sarah Palin? Jacob, yeah! Him and Glenn Rice just... All right, and now our headliner. He's actually going to be down at the Palms Comedy, or actually the Playboy Comedy Show at the Palms tonight and tomorrow, along with Armin Marine, is that
I think it's Arden Mirren.
Arden Mirren.
Look at that.
And his name's Mike Young, and he's very funny. Mike Young, what's happening, brother?
Thanks, Gooch. Thanks for having me.
You like the research that I put into this show, right? I'm like, what's her name again?
Oh, yeah, Alvin Martin.
Yeah, Martin,
He's
whatever.
Gonna be there.
I think it was like AM, something like that.
It's all good.
Now, here's the thing with Mike Young. You've lived in L.A. for quite a long time, but you're actually a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit.
Rough streets of Detroit, can't you tell? Yeah, it's been I am from Detroit. Not the rough streets, good mixed background.
Right.
You know, black, white, Arab, good local mixed culture community. It's probably where I got most of my comedy from.
Right. Just picking up on all the strange things that probably took place right in front of your eyes.
Exactly. A lot of great characters right in front of me. Didn't have to go far.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of people would you come across, though?
I mean,
because LA is always known for having like this strange amount of character. That's supposed to be like the culture mecca, and then you're over here saying that it's Detroit.
Yeah, I'm like 8 Mile-ish. You know what I mean? There was a lot of rough things going on around me in Detroit. Even though I grew up in the suburbs, we still had a lot of great characters. You know what I mean? We were like, pitching pennies in the school, and selling things during the week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Illegal situations going on. But no, it was a great place to grow up, man. You picked up a lot, trying to get along with all different cultures. So it was. I'm actually from Southfield, Michigan, is the name of the city. And so there was 8 Mile, and then Southfield started on 9 Mile. And so all the kids got bused from Detroit into my school, and boom, it was just like, wow, comedy is being handed over.
Speaking of 8 Mile, for those of you who don't know, Mike Young used to be a rapper.
No joke, Playboy. Are you kidding? I still got skills that nobody will ever hear.
Right.
It's true. I actually put a bit about that in my act. I said, yeah, somebody pulled a gun, scared my DJ into doing bar mitzvahs.
Right.
I said, it was over. But I started a rap group back in like '93 or something like that. We were called TKO. And,
did it stand for technical knockout, or did it mean something else?
Come on, bro. I thought I could box everything.
Right.
Everything a Jewish boy wasn't supposed to do, I was doing.
Right.
But yeah, I was in a group, and I sent a tape in to like a local contest. And it was National Academy of Recording Arts and Science was having like a Midwest contest. So I sent it in, and they called us. They're like, yo, you're in the showcase. So all of a sudden I'm like, now I really have to go perform. And I never really, done it in the studio and like recorded a couple little mixtapes. And then we end up like winning the little Midwest regional battle. And I'm not kidding. Next thing I know, I have like a record deal that I signed with the worst. I mean, it was like, if there's something lower than an independent record label, I signed that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like taken into an office on 7 Mile and like 2 hoods with guns. Like, you're going to love this contract.
Right.
And it didn't work out great. They're like, listen, white boy, you're not even on the cover of the album. Like, we're going to put this record out, but you're not on the cover.
What was your name? What was your rapper name?
Oh, it's so difficult. Young Mike.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I was Young Mike. Look it up. I just flipped the name around.
I'm thinking of a name.
Yeah.
Got it. Wham! Let's just use the name that I had to fill out on my driver's license test.
Yeah, I went alter ego, Gooch. I just flipped it. That's my alter ego, the opposite of my real name.
Now, when you were doing the battle, was it something like where you were just like, yeah, and everybody started throwing their hands up in the air and waving them around like they just didn't care?
Well, I had the whole school behind me. I had everybody. They showed up for like the show. I had my mom. I had my Jewish aunts. Baked goods were showing up. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was that type of thing. But then it got kind of serious. Like I started taking it seriously. And when I went out to LA for a minute, and I literally had this story where I'm not kidding. I like tried to enter a cipher, you know what I mean, like a freestyle situation that was going on. And Everlast from House of Pain was in the cipher, and I'm not kidding. I just thought I could like roll into the cipher. There was no rules. I was like, better you, the House of Pain, lame game. And I'm not kidding. He goes, yo, homie, and he snatched my beer out of my hand in the middle of it. And I looked down, I'm like, what are you doing? He had like a knife in his hand. Like I almost got killed. That would have been my legacy. Like what happened to Young Mike? Got killed by Everlast, bro. Kid's a legend.
Never saw any residuals from that death whatsoever.
No, it would have been nothing. We'd have sold nothing.
You know what? You should have won as the 4th Beastie Boy. That's all I'm pretty.
That was my dream.
We got a question. What's up, Scott?
Yeah, Clown Boy wants to know, what does Mike miss about Detroit?
Is that possible to miss Detroit?
I do love Detroit.
Right.
I'll be honest. I love Detroit. Obviously I miss family. I miss friends. I miss going downtown and just experiencing that culture. Like when you're in LA for so long, you want to go home and get refueled. And that's like the real deal back in Detroit, you know?
Right.
You could feel the struggle.
Well, you can feel the struggle, but you can also, it's a sense of realness. I mean, people are actually breaking their ass out there. In LA, everybody's doing something so they can try and get somewhere else. And 9 times out of 10, you know good and damn well those people aren't going to get to that something else.
Exactly. LA, there's an air of desperation. In Detroit, you might be desperate, but you're working all day to pay the bill. That's the difference.
Right.
You know, in LA, there's no bill. It's
Right.
like, who am I going to sleep with to get to the middle? How can I sleep my way to the starting line?
How do I sleep my way into some air conditioning?
Exactly. By the way, I want to thank 3 of my exes for that. You really got a great deal. Sure, it was a 1-bedroom, but you know, thanks for leaving the jewelry. That'll be hawked. Just paid rent with your bracelet.
He's bringing 8 Mile to L.A.
Yeah, we ain't playing.
Young Mike.
It's the reverse of the Fresh Prince.
So, you know, one thing, speaking of L.A., though, is you were actually on Entourage, or were you a part of Entourage?
I got a, you know, in the half-hour special that they just did, you know, Doug Ellen, who's a good friend of mine, had mentioned when they were casting Kevin Connolly that he couldn't get Connolly in for a meeting, so they had to call me because I was friends with Kevin for a long time. So I do have an affiliation there, and then Doug actually gave me an office for the first 2 seasons where I kind of just helped out punching jokes and working on storylines, and I kind of like wrote for 2 seasons while it was going on. It was probably one of the most fun times of my life where I was getting laid for nothing that I did.
You just answered my next question,
Yeah,
because
bro.
I am more than positive you have definitely surpassed your own means by, hey, I'm a writer for Entourage. Really? Let's make a baby.
Well, no, I'll tell you my problem is my social life has beaten out my professional life.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was on a private plane with Doug and the cast of Entourage going to a party in Vegas before I had a job, really.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So I'm like, it's all backwards. But yes, everything you can imagine did happen.
Were
you know?
there any of like the female co-stars that you ended up?
I
This
mean,
is
the
getting
most
good. I
got-
never had
Yo,
somebody want to
the
talk about their sex life.
Yeah,
This is
the
great.
most I got was like an arm rub from like a hot cast member at a late night diner. I'll be honest. There
You
were
were
extras.
called, can I use your jacket? No, but I'll
Yeah.
just sit here.
No, I was out there wrangling extras on a Malibu beach scene. You know what I mean? I was taking home. You know, none of my girls had credits on the show.
Right? Well,
But-
they almost did.
Exactly.
They were trying to sleep their way to the middle.
Exactly.
Which is like a certain young Mike.
Yeah, they got promised a lot of things. They got promised a lot of things. We had good times. No, but those guys are all buddies of mine, and it's, you know, it was sad to see the show end. And they they have an iconic show, and you know, it was a good, fun part of my life for 2 seasons, almost 2 years, and it was great.
Oh,
So,
I believe that.
yeah, I feel like I owe them a lot.
Right.
Just for my social surroundings.
Oh, dude. I'm sure some of those stories might have even made the show of like, hey, let me just write about this.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any like real life experiences that made it into the show, and then some girls watching the show, Mike, you're an asshole?
I mean, Doug, he talked about when they wrote the episode where Drama gets caught sneaking into the mansion. It was kind of like a reverse story that happened to me. I didn't sneak into the mansion, but we had planned all day. We were going to the Playboy Mansion. It was going to be like the Midsummer Night Dream crazy party. And I'm dressed in like, you know, you got to dress in like pajamas.
Right.
I'm all dressed. I'm doing shots of tequila. I can't. It's like the greatest night ever coming. And Doug calls and he's like, dude, you can't go.
Oh.
David Schwimmer threw you off the list. I'm like,
What?
What the fucking friends? Fucking friends. You don't clip me out. You know, no network dude's going to throw me out of the mansion.
David Schwimmer was not there for you.
Yeah, sure, we look like cousins, but I don't care. 2 Jews going to the mansion. I didn't get to go on that trip, but I had been there. I've been there. So thank God I got there.
We got another chat question. What's going on?
Yeah, Nate wants to know, where did Mike start his comedy career?
I started my comedy career at the world-famous Comedy Store, actually. I knew I was going to be a comedian. I always knew, and I was just waiting, and I was too scared to do it in my hometown. So when I moved to LA, I waited in line on Sundays, which everybody does for like their open mic nights, and you're just waiting in line with just a gang of degenerates, half homeless people. Like you've been there. It's a bad
Oh,
scene.
dude, that's rough. Yeah.
It's a rough scene.
Exactly. You think Everlast was hanging out there?
Exactly. I could have got killed by any random comedian with no fame. So I started at the Comedy Store, 3 minutes, and Mitzi Shore saw me there one night on a Sunday, and said, "You've passed. You're a regular. Call me on Monday." And boom, it was like it's like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
When you get passed at the comedy
acceptance
store.
that comes with
It is. It's amazing. They've like literally mind tricked us to like the point where like we're just happy to we're just happy to be here. Forget the money. I don't need money.
I'm an artist.
Yeah. So it was the Comedy Store.
That's cool.
I owe a lot to the Comedy Store.
We got another question?
Look at that.
Says he knows Mike.
Oh no! I hope this could be my boy.
He said, ask Mike if his comedy act is as funny as his shorts.
Fuck you, Zach. I know you. Zach is actually one of my best friends for years, and I know this is him talking. He's made it into the act. Because I have a bit in my act where I say I have one friend who's so lazy, his goal is for me to make it.
Right.
It's Zach. So ask Zach if his fucking job has changed in the last 20 years, which is nothing.
Zach found a nice place to nestle into your coattails. I'll make a nest right here.
Yeah, these are great shorts, Zach. What are you kidding?
They have pockets for you,
Yeah,
Zach. Come on now.
representing.
Jump in.
Sure, I wear them every day, but find your own shit, Zach.
So you have your website, MikeYoungComedy.com, and you have a blog on there, and that you recently just updated.
Very recently, like 30 seconds ago. I do have a blog. I've been single now for going like a year and a half, and so I started referring to myself on stage as Single Mike, and I don't even know where that came from, but it just became like this weird thing that I started saying. And then I just started this blog where, because my married buddies and friends with girlfriends would always ask me like weird pickup questions. Like I knew, like just because I've been dating a ton of girls over the last year and a half. So yeah, I started this Single Mike blog, and I've been given advice that I have no business giving at all.
Right.
Because if I had any idea, I'd fucking have a girlfriend, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it makes no sense, but it makes sense. So I've been in the field playing. It's been a strong field.
Well, just because you found somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you don't know how to do it. You know what you remind me of? You remind me of Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven. Sure, he's been out of the game, but when he needs the kill, he comes out there and he takes them all out. See you later, Gene Hackman.
Yeah, way to put me on a pedestal. I remind you of Clint Eastwood, legend.
Well, I'm just saying, look at that T-shirt right there. The good. The good.
I love it. Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's in pretty much your blog. Like, what are some of the pieces of advice that people ask you? I mean, because honestly, if you don't know how to talk to women, especially if you reach a certain age, like if you reach your 30s and you're having a hard time walking up to a girl, like, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I tell my buddies that are like just getting out of long-term relationships and like they're getting back in the single game, it's like, yo, slow it down. You know what I mean? Don't just jump in the game. It's like getting out of jail. You can't just you don't just come into society and start eating with everybody. You know what I mean? You got to you're still protecting your food. You know what I mean? You're still not trusting. Just ease into the game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just don't just roll into the supermarket and think you could talk anywhere in the frozen food section.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to fucking work your way around the produce. You know what I mean? Just take it slow. So,
baby steps is what you're
I'm
saying.
coaching my buddies. I've been in the game long enough.
But pretty much, though, a lot of the times they just don't have the confidence, and that's all it is. I mean, the idea that you were calling yourself Single Mike just opened the floodgates on stage. It had to have been.
It did. People started yelling after my shows, like, Single Mike, that happened to me. Like, they were like, I think, like, I might have to start breaking out T-shirts or something.
I definitely think you should.
I think it is. I think the Single Mike thing is good. But, you know, who knows? Maybe I just can't have a relationship while the career is going well. You know what I mean?
Right.
The better Single Mike does, the worse the relationships.
Well, you know what? That's definitely a difficult thing, especially in your position. Being on stage and being involved with movies and movie stars, there's a lot of women out there that can't handle that because their insecurities just start reaching an all-time high. And meanwhile, you're just like, look, just relax. But they just can't handle it.
Yeah. When I started going on the road, like I did a bunch of gigs with Saget. Like I did open for Bob Saget for like 10, 12 shows. We had a great time. And I remember, and I did that with Joe Rogan. I went on the road, and I was in a relationship at the time, and the girl I was dating was just not cool with it. Was just, where are you? Why didn't you call when you landed? You know what I mean? What hotel? Who's there? And it's just difficult. It's just an easier ride being single on the road for me.
Right.
Some dudes can handle it. You know what I mean? They do their show and they go right to bed with a club sandwich.
Right.
But that's their way of handling it. Like that's not me. I can't just go back to the room right after.
Well, it's difficult because you don't want to be a hermit. You know what I mean?
No, you got your fans.
Yeah, you have your fans. You got fun to go out there and have. Look, if I go to Chicago, I plan on going to Dicka's and throwing back a couple of beers and enjoying myself. I mean, the fact of the matter is that you got to check in with your girl like you're you know, Bruce Willis and Die Hard with a Vengeance, where you got to get to every payphone. I'm here, you know. That's just not fair to you.
I remember landing, and Rogan was driving us, and my girl was just bitching at me in the back seat on the phone, and he just turned around. He's just like, "You're just a fucking lame." I think he even threw me off the tour. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he just kicked you out of the taxi. He's like, beat it!
I wasn't even comfortable handling my business. Like, when you're not, you need someone that's going to support that.
Right.
And it's tough to find. And if you don't find it, just get rid of it. Because, you know, how are you going to support somebody without your career? So.
Exactly. For starters, you got to be able to support yourself. And honestly, if you're not a man, and a man is somebody who takes care of himself, how are you going to be a good chick?
Right.
That's what they have to understand. We got another chat question. What's going on, Scott?
This is a multi-part question. Clown Boy said, does Mike dig Jewish chicks? And then I said, are you a Jewish chick? And he said, no, I'm a Jewish guy from Detroit who was immersed in Jewish girls as a youth and now want nothing to do with them.
Listen, buddy, your bar mitzvah's over. Just relax. There's good Jewish girls out there. I'm not against Jewish girls. You're just going through a phase. It's just a phase. Jewish girls have a lot of good qualities. Get in good with the father. If you don't have a job, he'll hook you up. Just slow down. Don't be against Jewish girls right now.
Wait, something tells me that Clown Boy is actually Zach. Hold on a second.
It might be. Clown Boy sounds familiar. Zach and his alternative fucking personality.
He's like, well, I'm trying to ride a good Jewish boy's coattails right now. I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I'm not against any group of girls. Actually, I'm open to all.
Right, exactly. Why not? And that's the one thing I never could understand is hot is hot. Hot is hot. Everybody's like, I've met people that are like, oh, black girls, I don't know. I mean, you mean to tell me like Beyonce just came out of nowhere and tried to hook it up? And no matter what the race is, I mean, if you find them attractive, you're going to try and hook up with them.
Well, that's somebody like fighting their DNA. You know what I mean? That's like a dude who's like some redneck family. Hey, you know what I mean? The great grandfather's still racist. He just in his mind he can't get over it. But yeah, exactly. You throw Beyonce on his lap, all that changes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you actually wrote a script for Jeff Daniels?
I did. Well, I didn't write it for Jeff Daniels, but I wrote a movie called Right Angle, and Jeff Daniels is starring in it. And it's also Aaron Paul, the kid from Breaking Bad, who won the Emmy, and Tom Berenger's in it. So yeah, I wrote a movie a year and a half ago. I wrote it for Gilbert Films, the guys that did Kids Are All Right, and it was based on a true story. And I got a phone call one day. The kid's from Detroit. And it's this story, it's like Little Miss Sunshine in a wheelchair. This kid had this tragic accident. Isn't that hilarious?
I just love the way it sounds right there.
It's about quadriplegic. It really is, though.
It's going to be hilarious.
Well, this kid wrote a journal about his life and his life after the accident. And after the accident, his family started falling apart. So he's like getting better. He's like made the decision to like get his life better. Meanwhile, his dad's like smoking weed and banging young chicks. His brother becomes a degenerate gambler. His mom's falling apart, and she's like a neurotic mess. And I read this journal, and the producers said they had sent me the journal and said, do you see a story in here that we could maybe turn into a movie? And I read it, and I was like, I see the movie. I got it. And so they hired me to write it. I wrote it, and boom, we shot it in Detroit for 5 weeks. And we're editing right now. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully it's good and it doesn't suck. And yeah, we'll see it on the big screen.
Now, something like that, when you actually get picked up, do people see that you wrote the script and then life all of a sudden becomes easier, or is it just back to the straight grind?
It's back to fucking misery.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the most joy is like actually physically like writing it, and then you hand it over, and then it goes to a director, and now you're like, you got your creative battles going on, and I'd love to say that it's like all beautiful and easy and like it's so exciting, and it is once the movie will be done, but there's like creative headaches going on because you think you have your idea of funny, I have mine, and even though I wrote it, I don't own it now.
Right.
So I don't own it. So you got to just And I remember having a meeting, and the guys kept going like, "You got to kill your babies. You got to kill your babies," like saying like you got to kill your creative ideas, your jokes. And I remember looking across the table, thinking, "Fucking Detroit's about to jump out of me right now.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna kill your baby." You know what I mean? Like you're my baby, and I'm gonna kill you.
We got another question.
Yeah, we do. We got a couple. One from Bill. Bill wants to know, since your work on Entourage, have you done any acting as well?
Not really. I mean, I've had a couple like development deals for sitcoms with networks, but we've never made one. So they'll like sign you to a deal, and they want to make a sitcom with you or a deal with you, and or a show with you, and unfortunately, I just haven't connected with like the right showrunner to where we just haven't gotten a show on the air. So I've had a couple deals. I've been in a couple plays. I've done a little acting, but for me to call myself like a real actor kind of is hard because I have friends that are real actors and like they take it seriously. And you know, when I do get a role, like if I do get another deal and it does go, I'll take it seriously. But you know, I haven't done a lot of acting. No.
What are you more? Are you more of a writer? Are you more of a comic? Or are you more of a
good question?
Or an
Gooch.
actor? You know
good
what I mean?
Question.
Yeah.
I consider it like the same. I consider like writing and stand-up kind of like the same art form. You know, just like a different way to express it. So that's like a hard question. I think I'm like exactly the same on both ends. Like I love the process of writing and I love performing. So to me, it's like the same thing. And most comedians, if they ever took the time to like learn the craft of screenwriting, would probably be better than half the dudes that are writing shit. We're just like comedians are just a lazy group.
Right.
They're up at 2 PM, you know what I mean, getting coffee and like not taking shit seriously. But like my friends that are comedians, I tell them it's like, yo, learn how to write a script because you're already funnier than the dudes that are getting shit out there. So, you know, that's just, I think I'm both, you know. There's no better feeling. I got to open for Russell Peters in front of 12,000 people in San Jose. Rocking 12,000 people, there's just no better feeling. That's greater than any shit I've ever felt at my desk in the half dark, you know what I mean? Like brooding and dropping eye dandruff on my keyboard. You know? So I can't say I'm more of a comedian than a writer, but I enjoy rocking a crowd more than anything. That's just the greatest.
It is a good feeling. The adrenaline that pumps through. I mean, like when you print out a good page, that's great. It's nowhere near 12,000 people. I mean, your heart's racing, and then you got to tell yourself, relax.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different beast. It's like the laughter's coming in slower. It's like,
Yeah.
That's my imitation of 12,000. Of 12,000 after Mike Young's strong joke.
Well, Mike, I got to tell you, it was great having you on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
And before we leave, we like to play a little game with our guests. We call it 3 Under 30. We ask you 3 questions that you have to answer under 30 seconds.
Do it up.
All right, we got it. We ready, Scott?
Ready.
All right, and go. Who is the lead singer for Kiss?
Gene Simmons.
All right.
My brother's a huge fan. Got him an autograph. Go ahead.
Who came up with E = MC squared?
Einstein.
All right. And what is the first verse to West Side Connection's Bow Down?
Oh, motherfucker. Oh, I know. That was 30 seconds?
I'm sorry.
Do you have it on there? I'm upset.
It's the world is mine. Better get back. Don't fuck with my stack. The gauge is whack.
Oh, good shit, Gooch.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much for stopping by the show. You can catch Mike down at the Playboy Comedy at the Palms tonight and tomorrow with Arden Marine. Very funny. I've actually seen him in person. And don't forget to check out his blogs at MikeYoungComedy.com. And we'll be back next week at 12:30 with more Awkward Silence 2.1. If you caught the last couple seconds of the show, don't worry about it. We're on VegasVideoNetwork.com, Roku, iTunes, and YouTube. Thank you very much. We'll see you next Friday at 12:30. Thanks a lot, bro.
Yo, thank you, brother.